Hello, and welcome to the Smart Injury Doctors Podcast, the injury market's top program for doctors, lawyers, and insurers who want to gain greater insight on how to improve patient recovery results and deliver better services in the U.S. injury market. Please welcome your host, Dr. Jeffrey Allen Kronk.
Hey doctors, today let's talk about the mild traumatic brain injuries or the concussive area of a trauma practice. And I'm going to focus just on one aspect of this today. I'm just going to focus on the aspect of the cervical profile. So one of the biggest clinical trajectories, right, to address is the most unaddressed clinical trajectory. So it's the cervical profile. So when you're looking at mild traumatic brain injuries, there's 6 different trajectories or profiles. There's vestibular, there's ocular, there's cognitive, there's migraine, there's anxiety or mood, and there's cervical. And the cervical is the least understood of all of them, and it's the most important aspect of all of them, bar none. Now, what it means is, hey, look, a person can have problems with balance when they have a mild traumatic brain injury. They can have problems with their vision or their eyes. They can have problems with cognitive problems. They can have problems with migraines, and they can have a problem with anxiety or mood changes as a result of these, right? So if I look at the cervical profile, it can cause vestibular, it can cause ocular, it can cause cognitive, it can cause migraine, and of course, it indirectly causes the same thing on the anxiety or mood. And it's the least understood of all of them. It's the reason, in my experience, why mild traumatic brain injuries take so long to recover. Anyone that's in the mild traumatic brain injury space should be a upper cervical ligament expert, bar none. It's the easiest profile to look at. I mean, you're looking at an ADP open mouth lateral bend. You're looking for the alar ligament damage. You're looking for the upper cervical C2, C3, C3, C4. You're looking for instability in that area. And it's a very easy profile, and it's what you're going to find in the majority of mild traumatic brain injury patients. So if I want to go out and I want to start doing work in this area, or I want to start promoting it, I'm going to be promoting the hell out of the cervical profile, because that's in my wheelhouse. As a doctor of chiropractic, that's in my total wheelhouse. Now, here's the beautiful thing. It also works right in with the NEXUS guidelines, the National Emergency X-ray Radiography Utilization Study, NEXUS. NEXUS is the reason why you take X-rays, right? Now, we also have, we have our own chiropractic radiology guidelines. But if we take a look at NEXUS, which is sort of national and international, it says, hey, look, if I got midline posterior spinal tenderness present, I should take an X-ray, right? That's where you're going to find your inflammation of the injury. If I've got a painful or distracting injury present, I should take an X-ray. Now, a lot of doctors don't understand what that is. What is a painful, distracting injury? It's a ligament injury, and it's also a fracture. So the spine only has 2 parts that can be damaged, the bone and the ligament, and both are caused from distracting injuries. And so if you think you have a ligament injury, you have to take an X-ray. If the patient shows up intoxicated, you have to take an X-ray. Now, that's not in the majority of offices that we deal with, but it is in the NEXUS guidelines. It also says if you got focal neurological deficits present. What does that mean? It means if you got a problem with a nerve, I got pain running down the arm. I got heaviness, weakness. I got a deltoid muscle that's a grade 4. I got a weakness there. Or if I have a cord problem, or if I've got a brain problem, I want to take an X-ray. And it also says if I've got any encephalopathy. So if I've got any brain problem, or I think that there might be a mild traumatic brain injury, under the National Emergency X-ray Utilization Study, you take X-rays. Now, what are you taking? The majority of doctors do not understand what I'm talking about, and it is one of the hugest markets there is. I mean, if you're suffering from, hey, I don't know how to get new patients, I don't know how to get people into my practice, and I'm struggling. Oh my God, we're barely making it. We're making $200,000, $300,000 in services in our clinic, and we don't know how to get it up beyond that. We're making 4 or 5. We're stuck at a level, and we're not sure what to do. We're not sure how to get out of it. I'm in a I'm in the rat trap or the rat race of just spinning the wheel. I'm running and running and running and running and running, but I can't get off the wheel. This is the area. This gets you off the wheel. This is an area that's the easiest area to become an expert in. It's the easiest area to go out and talk about, because all you have to do is understand injury. And once you understand injury, you understand chronic situations as well. And I don't care if it's chronic. A person comes in and says, if they're a high school, they're a college, they're a professional team, they're a neurologist, they're talking about traumatic brain injuries. What they're talking about is usually, especially when the patient is having a difficult time recovering, is usually you're talking about the cervical profile is the profile that's missing. It's just missing. If I want to go out and I want to look at research on mild traumatic brain injuries, I can go out. It's called chronic neck pain, making the connection between capsular ligament laxity and cervical instability. And in that research, it says, hey, while most individuals recover from a single concussion, up to a third of those will continue to suffer from the residual effects, such as headache, there's your migraine profile, neck pain, dizziness, there's your balance profile, memory problems, there's your cognitive profile. I could say visual disturbances, there's my visual profile. Such symptoms characterize a disorder known as post-concussive syndrome and are much like those of whiplash-associated disorder. Both disorders are likely due to cervical instability. That's what's causing it. That's why people are still suffering with it. Now, once I understand that for mild traumatic brain injury, I can have the biggest headache clinic I want to. I can have the biggest chronic neck pain center that I want to. Because there are so many people that are suffering from these conditions, and all they're looking for is somebody that can definitively tell them what the problem is and what they need to do to solve it, and not give them a whole bunch of research to read or a whole bunch of complicated explanations. That's not what they need. They need somebody who knows exactly what it is, what you're looking for. And the cervical profile, to me, the cervical profile should be the hottest thing in the mild traumatic brain injury world, bar none, because it's the most important aspect, and it's the easiest aspect to learn. Now, where would you go learn something like that? You come to Smart Injury Doctors. Our program, we have a program called the Smart Injury Doctors Program. Come in, join. We have over 500 doctors in our program now, and join those that are understanding what this is really all about and what these injuries are about. Therefore, you can treat acute injuries. And when you're treating acute injuries and you really understand them, you are seriously saving lives. You're seriously improving lives, right? Because what are you doing? You're taking somebody that's going to be chronic. I mean, when a person injures their spine, they have a 55% or better chance of never fully recovering. And I'm telling you, doctors that are listening to me right now, or attorneys, or even a patient that's listening to me right now, that is not a patient problem. That is not a condition problem. That is a doctor problem. That is a doctor problem. Doctors do not understand the condition. The injury market has been the blind leading the blind for so long. And it really is. There's no formalized education in it anywhere. No college has any, no chiropractic school, no physical therapy school, no osteopathic school, no medical school has any formalized curriculum on spinal injury, on spinal injuries themselves. Number one, first, fourth, sixth leading cause of chronic pain and disability, and no education on them. Most expensive problems in the market today for employers, for anyone in the market today, no formalized education on them. So if you can see, you can lead. And if you can lead, you can decide where you want to go, what you want to do, how much time do you want to work, how much money do you want to make, how big do you want to have your clinic, how many people do you want to have employed, how many associates do you want to have, how many centers do you want to have. You can decide any of that. And I started this off by saying, hey, in the mild traumatic brain injury space, go to any education, get educated on mild traumatic brain injuries, and you're going to see the cervical profile. But even the key experts that I see out there minimize the cervical profile, and it's a big mistake. It's the hugest real estate in the mild traumatic brain injury space, and you should not miss it. You should take advantage of it, because right now it's kind of like the United States maybe 250 years ago. The land is free. All you have to do is stake a claim, and it's yours. You don't have to pay for it. It's there for you. It's free. So take advantage of it. And again, it's the easiest profile to work with. So doctors, when you get into the mild traumatic brain injury, you got to know the cervical profile. It's the most powerful profile there is, and you can be super, super helpful. Just knowing that profile, I don't even have to know mild traumatic brain injuries if I don't want to, and I can go speak with the high schools. I can speak with the colleges. I can speak with the neurologists. I can speak with anybody, because I've got a solution to one of the biggest problems with anybody that has a mild traumatic brain injury. So, doctors, if you want to find out more about our program, you go to smartinjurydoctors.com. We also have the Smart Injury Doctors Practice Building Success Network. It's a Facebook private group that you can join. You just look for it, search it, become a member of it. If you have any questions for us, 800-940-6513. As always, I look forward to, I appreciate your attention, and I look forward to delivering more material. Hopefully you get something. These are short to the point. Hopefully you get something every time you listen to these. And I look forward to delivering more content on the next podcast.
You've been listening to the Smart Injury Doctors Podcast, the #1 audio production show for professionals in the U.S. injury market that want to deliver better injury services to the patients, clients, or insureds they serve. If you like what you heard today, please leave us a review, and don't forget to join us on our next program.